she turned down a full scholarship to MIT. And I know people say that all the time, but really think about that. MIT and a full scholarship. Not because she couldn't do it, but because she was writing rhymes in the margins of her engineering textbooks. That decision put her in the room where the Fugees were finishing the score. 18 million copies, 2 Grammys. She stood next to Lauryn Hill and didn't sound out of place. That should have been it. That moment where everything opens up. But it wasn't. By 2004, her second album was sitting in a vault, finished. Production from J Dilla, and you don't just say that name lightly. That's one of the most respected producers ever. Features lined up, everything ready. She called, no answer. Called again, still nothing. At some point, you stop calling. No release, no explanation, just silence. I keep coming back to that because silence like that, it isn't accidental.
Digga, digga, first name Rashia.
This is Rah Digga. And if you've never heard her name before today, that's not a coincidence. That's the story. Her real name is Rashia Fisher, Newark, New Jersey. And Newark, that's not a place that hands anything to you.
I was a little sheltered from the violence, but no, it was definitely alive and present.
It tests you out first, and talent alone doesn't get you out. It just puts a spotlight on you. And I've always thought that's important, because some people think that talent is enough. In reality, it isn't. She chose early, while others followed what was on the radio. She studied the hardest lyricists alive. Rakim, KRS-One, Cool G Rap, the kind of artist you had to rewind just to understand one bar. That wasn't casual. That was a choice. By the time she got to college, engineering track, 1300 SAT, and MIT sends the letter. Full scholarship. Most people don't even think. They would just take it. On the other hand, for her, she didn't. And I remember when I first heard that, I had to sit with it. Because that's not a small decision. That's walking away from certainty for something that really might not work out. But she chose it anyway. And I think a lot of people miss that. She didn't just drift into this. She chose this lifestyle over certainty. And what she didn't know yet was that the system she chose was never really built for someone like her. She didn't get in through a label. No connections, no meetings. She built her name in ciphers, where skill was the only currency, where nobody cares who you are, only what you sound like. And one of those ciphers included a young Eminem before the world knew him. This is the kind of level that she was operating on. Then came Lyricist Lounge. If you know that room, you already know what that means. That's where careers either start or end. And she walks on the stage. 8 months pregnant. And I'm not gonna lie. The first time I heard that, I thought, that's a risk. One bad performance, and nobody's ever taken you seriously again. That wasn't just talent what she did. That was pressure. But she didn't fold. She didn't ask for anything. Didn't make it easier on herself. She rapped like the room owed her something, because it did. In that crowd, Q-Tip. And if you know Q-Tip, you know he hears everything. He didn't leave thinking female rapper. He left thinking, that's a problem. Within days, Busta Rhymes had her number. And this is where everything starts to speed up, but also where the clock starts ticking. Flipmode Squad. Now that wasn't just a group. One of the most dangerous collectives of that era. That was a proving ground. You don't survive in that room by accident. And she wasn't there to fill a spot. She was there because she could stand in that lineup and not get washed. Lineups full of killers. And she wasn't surviving. She was matching them. Then comes 2000. Dirty Harriet. I need to slow down here because that title, that tells you everything. Dirty Harriet. A flip on Dirty Harry. Clint Eastwood. The cop who didn't ask permission. Didn't follow rules. Didn't care who approved. So when she calls herself that, that's not branding. That's a bold statement. That's her saying, I'm not here to fit your version of this. And the music itself backed it up. Production from DJ Premier. That's not radio. That's bars. Pete Rock. Same thing. These are producers who don't soften you. They expose you. And at that exact time, labels were pushing something else. Image. Marketability. But she went the other way. 311,000 copies. Top 20 Billboard. No gimmick. Just heard. And I remember thinking, this should be the moment. This is where it breaks open. Everything was there. But having everything doesn't mean you get chosen. Now this part, this is where it gets uncomfortable. Because nothing obvious went wrong. No scandal. No fall-offs. She didn't suddenly get worse. She just stopped being useful. And that's hard to accept. Clive Davis builds J Records. And if you know that name, you know that that's power. Real power. The kind that decides who gets pushed and who doesn't. At the same time, Busta Rhymes starts moving towards Aftermath Entertainment with Dr. Dre. And I think that in this moment, people miss the point of this a lot. When the person who brought you in starts leaving, nobody checks what happens to you. No meeting, and definitely no explanation. It's just, it shifts. And if you're not paying attention, you miss it. Her second album was already done. Not demos and not ideas. Completely done. And once again, production from J Dilla. Everything was ready. And then, nothing. No release, no rollout. She called, no answer. Called again, nothing. And in that moment, that's where you realize this isn't about music anymore. People say the industry failed her. That sounds nice. It's also not true. The industry didn't fail her. It moved on. And it moved towards something else. Just look at that era. Who was getting pushed, what they looked like, and what they sounded like. Artists who never wrote a line, getting bigger pushes than her. Let that sit. Because Rah Digga wrote everything. Every bar, every line. So when she spoke on it, she didn't get respect. She became a problem. And in this industry, the moment you become a problem, you stop getting opportunities. Not loudly, quietly, through silence. 2009, she's in the studio, still working, still showing up. No label, no machine, no reason except the music. At that same time, her house catches fire. And by the time anyone reaches her, it's already gone. Everything. Photos, memories, records. Except one thing survived. A laptop. And inside it, the album. The one they never released. Production from J Dilla. Snoop's vocals. Everything. And I just had to let that sit for a second. Because that doesn't feel random. Everything else gone. But the music they buried, still there. The industry buried it. The fire couldn't. She didn't call the label. At that point, what would she even say? She didn't wait, didn't chase. She finished the work, released it independently. Classic. 10 years after Dirty Harriet. No machine, no push, no backing. Just her. And this is where it shifts, because now it's not about being chosen anymore. That part is over. So she builds something else. Back in Newark, a nonprofit, teaching the next generation, the same city that raised her, her daughter, the one who was inside her that night on stage, old enough now to understand what resilience actually looks like. So here's the real question. What happens when someone does everything right and still doesn't get chosen? Because she didn't fail. She wasn't outworked, and she definitely wasn't outperformed. She just wasn't prioritized. If you didn't know her name before this, now you do. And you know exactly why you didn't. There's another name from this era. Same room, same moment. But what the industry did to her was even darker. That story is next.